Today marks 1 year since the genocide in Gaza began. Here are 7 lessons we've learned. Lesson number 1. Israel is not invincible. On the 6th of October 2023, the Israeli intelligence and military services were regarded as some of the best in the entire world. On the 7th of October, that image was shattered. The Palestinian resistance overran military bases around the Gaza Strip, and they killed over 1,200 Israelis and took more than 200 captives. 1 year on, the Israeli military has not been able to achieve any of its aims in Gaza. Hamas is still intact, even though it is degraded, whilst the Israeli military has killed more Israeli captives than it has rescued. Israel has also exposed the fact that its fighting force is completely incompetent. Apart from its air force, which continuously drops 2,000-pound bombs on children and women and hospitals and mosques and schools, the Israeli fighting force itself is unable to do anything remotely close to achieving its aims on the ground. We've seen so many videos on social media of Palestinian resistance fighters targeting Israeli bulldozers and tanks and soldiers. How many videos have we seen of Israeli forces engaging Palestinian resistance fighters? Over the last year, even though Israel has destroyed Gaza, killed over 41,000 Palestinians, destroyed mosques, schools, hospitals, and the such, Israel has not been able to re-establish deterrence. Now the whole world knows that Israel is not invincible. Lesson number 2. The United States is not a legitimate partner for peace. The United States is just as culpable for Israeli war crimes as the Zionist entity itself. Whilst the Biden administration has been telling us for over a year that they want a ceasefire, that they are brokering some sort of ceasefire agreement, the fact of the matter is, the United States government is directly supporting the genocide. As Biden and Blinken continuously state that they want a ceasefire, they are also sending billions and billions of dollars worth of bombs and armaments to Israel. You can't be a legitimate partner for peace if you arm one side, and if you arm the side that's committing atrocities day after day. The fact of the matter is, this is the United States genocide. It's not just Israel's. So when we talk about who is to blame, when we talk about who needs to go to prison, at the top of the list is not only Netanyahu and his cabinet, but also Joe Biden and every single Western leader who armed and supported this genocide. Lesson number 3. Arab rulers are complicit in Israeli war crimes and genocide. In Abu Dhabi, for example, Mohammed bin Zayed has not even expelled the Israeli ambassador. In Amman, King Abdullah exports tomatoes to the Zionist entity to keep it afloat. In Cairo, Sisi has kept Gaza under siege, allowing the Israelis to take control of the Philadelphia corridor and not getting enough aid, food and water to the Palestinians in Gaza. We see this pattern of complicity across the board. The Arab rulers have Palestinian blood on their hands. Lesson number 4. The mainstream media is complicit. The mainstream media spread atrocity propaganda about October the 7th in order to justify Israel's crimes on Palestinians. They spread lies about 40 beheaded babies. They spread lies about systematic rape. They spread lies about Hamas command and control centers being under hospitals. They have covered for the Israeli genocide at every step of the way. To this day, many mainstream media outlets continue to spread their lies about what happened on October the 7th. They are also incapable of giving Palestinian life the same value as Israeli life. Israelis are killed, they are massacred, they are brutalized, while Palestinians merely die, and God knows what the cause of that death was. The mainstream media also has blood on its hands. Lesson number 5. International law is a lie. In January of this year, the International Court of Justice ruled that Israel is plausibly committing a genocide in Gaza, ordering them to stop any actions that could cause genocide. Did Israel follow those orders? No. In May of this year, the International Criminal Court prosecutor Karim Khan requested arrest warrants for both Netanyahu and Defense Minister Gallant. Have those warrants been issued? Seems not. Why is that? The United Nations Security Council also voted on a ceasefire resolution. Did that resolution get implemented? No. What does all of this prove? This proves that as long as you have the greatest superpower backing you, you don't need to follow international law. You can commit as many war crimes as you want. Israel has exposed that this so-called rules-based world order only operates in the interest of the powerful. And therefore, if upholding your rights is against the interests of America, of Israel, you can rest assured that international law will not save you. Lesson number 6. Zionism is a genocidal ideology. Many polls have been done over the last year to see how many Israelis support the ongoing war against civilians in Gaza. These polls show that at least 90% of Israelis either support the genocide in Gaza or want more genocide in Gaza. What does this show us? This shows us that at the core of Israeli society, there is something very wrong. And that core is the ideology of Zionism. Genocide is foundational to the Zionist ideology. It requires that you kill the indigenous population and force them from their homes in order to take their place. And we've seen that on display in Gaza when they dehumanize Palestinians day in, day out. We see Israeli soldiers posting on TikTok videos of them blowing up schools with nobody in them, going into people's homes and ransacking people's stores, wearing women's lingerie. We see this dehumanization and this genocidal thought in every aspect of Israel's war in Gaza. And we saw this genocidal thought from the beginning when Defense Minister Gallant said that he will not allow food, water or medicine into Gaza, that they are fighting human animals and they will act accordingly. Well, they have acted accordingly. We also saw the president of Israel, Isaac Herzog, the supposed moderate, saying that it's not true that the civilians are unaware. He claimed that all Palestinians in Gaza were culpable for the 7th of October. And later on, Netanyahu referred to the Palestinians as Amalek. Amalek are a people referred to in the Bible, which the Israelites were ordered to kill every man, woman, child, and infant. This is genocidal. October the 7th exposed the reality of the so-called only democracy in the Middle East and its true intentions for the Palestinians. They want genocide. They want all of the land with none of the people. Finally, lesson number 7. Liberation is near. We've seen throughout history when colonial entities near the end of their lifespans, they start to get more barbaric with the way they treat the indigenous populations. We saw this in Algeria, we saw this in South Africa, we saw this in Rhodesia, and we are seeing this today in Palestine. In 1982, when 3,500 Palestinians were killed in Sabra and Shatila, Israelis took to the streets to protest against the massacre. Today, Israelis take to the streets to protest the arrest of IOF soldiers who rape Palestinian prisoners. This is where we are at today. The Zionist entity is killing more and more Palestinians every day. They're getting more brazen, they're getting more brutal, and they are nearing the end of their lifespan. We've also seen protests all around the world demanding an end to the genocide. People from all backgrounds, from all countries, united in their disgust at the Israeli war crimes in Gaza. We're seeing Israel become a pariah state. We're seeing the global South unite in its disgust at American hypocrisy. We're seeing colonial subjects all around the world rallying not only for a ceasefire, not only for the end of genocide, but for Palestinian liberation. On the 6th of October 2023, Palestine was dead. Today, Palestinian liberation has never been nearer.